What's going on, guys? This is the Edge DFS. Thanks for joining us. We're doing Ravens versus Bills. This is Saturday night playoff football. This is the second game of the day. Ellie, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, dude. I'm pretty glad that I I decided to play Andre Drummond tonight. Who knew he was going to have a ceiling fucking performance in a game that, to be quite frank, like I really don't think that should have happened. But hey, I'll take it. Dude had like 28 points and like 32 fucking rebounds.
You know what's going to be awesome is people are going to be watching this tomorrow and they're like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying most of the time anyways. Yeah, exactly. They're just like, bro, just tell me the price and the play.
Yeah, tell me the picks. We want the picks. Who do I play at captain? What's the best lineup? So anyways, guys, this is pre-recorded. We're typically coming to you guys live. This is a pre-recorded show. So hit us up in the chat, actually. We will be available on the chat. We're premiering this video when it comes out. So hit us up there. We'll be chilling, but this is pre-recorded. We don't expect a whole lot of news. There's not a whole lot of injury news for this particular game. So everything we talk about now should still apply. So yeah, this is fucking, what game are we doing?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
All right. So Baltimore, Buffalo. This is one. I'm super excited about this game, dude. This is going to be probably my favorite game, maybe all year, man. I'm really excited about Baltimore coming into Buffalo. We got a snowstorm potentially going on. The weather's going to be shit. So I'm still excited. I mean, look at this total. It's 49.5. The Bills have a slight advantage here. They're 2.5 point favorites at home. But overall, look, I think generally speaking for this entire year, the Buffalo Bills have been the better team. But Baltimore is hitting their stride right now. They had a lot of issues coming into this. They have had a lot of issues like the second half of the season. With COVID, injuries, everything like that. But, man, they're really coming into their own. Lamar Jackson is coming into his own. He's starting to feel it. Do you think that Baltimore has a shot to make a Super Bowl run? Because, look, we all know that when teams get hot, they're unstoppable in the playoffs, and this is the kind of team that do it.
So I think so far this is going to be the best matchup that we've had in the playoffs, right? Buffalo's run defense is not very good. Baltimore's rush offense is obviously what makes them good. Yeah. We got the fucking chip off Lamar Jackson's shoulder, John Harbaugh's shoulder. They got their playoff win. Now they can kind of, they can go out there and just play some fucking football.
Yep.
I'm going to have to look it up. Do we remember, have they played yet this season? I feel like they played, but we'll have to check that out.
Sure they did, right?
Let's see.
Then I don't see it. I don't think they played this year.
Well, that's exciting because I think these are two of some of the most exciting quarterbacks that we have in the NFL. I think it's Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, even Russell Wilson in the first half of NFL seasons. But I definitely think this is going to be a fun game, bro. I'm really excited for it. I think everybody's going to be looking at Buffalo and how strong their offense is, but this is a Ravens secondary that is really, really good, and I think they might have the most talented just defensive back core that there is in the NFL. This is a playmaking group, right? They force turnovers. The Rams, obviously, they're the number one defense in the NFL, but and the number one pass defense in the NFL. But I definitely think the Ravens have some similar upside, but with big play potential on defense. So I'm really excited for this game, man. I just really am.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad that this is the late game. This is the primetime game. This is I'm excited about the Packers to play. I don't love the matchup, but this, I can't wait for this game. All right, so let's talk about injuries here. Not a whole lot to talk about, but there's one injury here that we really need to focus on, and that's Zach Moss. He got injured in that last game for Buffalo, which makes Devin Singletary the guy now. It's always been kind of a 50-50 split between them. Flip a coin as to which one of these guys is going to get more carries or more opportunity. Now we know Devin Singletary is that guy. We've seen Singletary have some upside, but generally speaking, we kind of want to avoid the backfield for the Bills, typically speaking, unless you're, a tournament punt at captain or something. But now with Moss out, what does this do for your thought? Do we like Devin Singletary now, especially at a price tag of what, 778, 7,200? Do you like this?
Yes. Just straight up yes. Honestly, we'll get to it at running back, but I think there's another guy. I'm an Alabama homer, so I think there's another guy there that I like too. But yes, get Devin Singletary.
All right. So luckily, no other injuries to talk about. Typically speaking, the Ravens are chock with injuries when it comes to COVID. Who the fuck's out this week? Who the fuck's out last week? But now they're pretty healthy, so that's pretty nice to I'm glad that at least we have like a fully healthy team here, minus Zach Moss on from the Bills. So, anything else to talk about? You want to get right into this breakdown?
Let's get into the breakdown, dude.
All right. So look, we've got the quarterbacks here. There's not a lot to talk about here, right? You got Lamar Jackson at 12.2K. You got Josh Allen at 12K straight up. Fucking play them. All right, that's the show. Let's end it. Like, that's all you got to talk about here. The question here is, do we play him at captain or not? Most likely, yes. Either one of these guys, I'm going to rotate. These guys have the highest ceiling. In addition to, they have rushing upside. So if you get a quarterback that scores a rushing touchdown or possibly 2 rushing touchdowns, they're going to have to be in the optimal. Like, they're going to be the optimal captain most likely. It's so hard to overcome that when you have Lamar Jackson in the flex, but he scores a rushing touchdown. You don't have him in the captain. It just makes it so much difficult to actually, get a top lineup to actually win. It's very difficult. So 12.2K, 12K, are we just going to have to fit these guys in? And potentially an option for us is to maybe punt at captain with a little bit lower in lower price guy in the captain so that we can fit all these guys in, but it's going to be tough. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Is there any reason to avoid these guys?
No, absolutely not. I was practice building with some shit here, and I really don't think that there's any reason to, because hey, secret, we like Gus Edwards. And he opens up a shitload of fucking value. Like, I don't understand. DraftKings refuses to price him up. And I get that he may not get that output, but bro, he's the RB2 at $2,400. Like, and everyone else is priced the same. The only guys I want to pay for are Lamar, Josh Allen, and Stephon Diggs anyways. So like, you have them priced enough so that I can use Gus Edwards to get to all of them. I think you have to lock them into all of your lineups. It's that simple to me.
So let's move over to the running backs here. For Baltimore, like you said, look, we've got Gus Edwards at 2,600. We've got J.K. Dobbins at 8,600. Now, J.K. is the clear number one guy. I think he has a much higher ceiling. He's going to get more volume, but you're still talking about Gus Edwards, a guy who can vulture touchdowns on the goal line. He's the short yardage back. He's going to be the guy. It's going to be snowing like a mofo in this game, most likely. 15 mile an hour to 20 mile an hour winds, potentially some blizzard type activity. And in a game like that, they're going to have to rely on their run game, and against a defense who just cannot stop the run. They're ranked 22nd in run defense.
Yeah, I mean,
Dobbins and Gus Edwards, they're both good options here. You could put them in the same lineup together. Absolutely, you can. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Lamar, JK, fucking Gus Edwards, and I think there might be enough value on this slate to get another cheap dude and still end up with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Right? That's six players. We'll see when we start building. Honestly, this show is going to be really easy for us, right? We've done these teams 14 times. Everybody knows what we're going to say. So
I know.
I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to build for this because the pricing's not as exaggerated as I thought it would be.
We got Justice Hill at 200, Patrick Ricard at 800. Don't really need to talk about them. Justice Hill, as if you're doing 150 lineups, maybe you toss him into a 2 or 3. Ricard might get a fucking goal line rush, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not chasing these dudes. I'm focusing on Gus Edwards at 2,600. That's who I'm focusing on. Let's move over to the other side. Buffalo. So you got Devin Singletary at 7,200. You've also got guys like TJ Yeldon and Antonio Williams at 1,200 and 1,400 respectively. I think Antonio Williams is maybe the option. I think we've seen him get some play, but I'm just gonna take over.
I'm going to take over for you, man. This is my territory. This is what I know. Look, TJ Yeldon, he has some upside. He's very much a Kenyon Drake type running back, right? And yeah, I'm going to nod and compare him to another Alabama running back. But look,
son of a bitch.
He does have a lot of upside. He hasn't been put in a position to get those carries and those touches. We saw him a little bit at the end of last year. We know he has that explosiveness. At 1,400 with a team that likes to rotate their backs in, honestly, I don't give a shit which one you guys play. Like, you can play any one of these backs. Normally, I wouldn't do it, but at that pricing, you're not paying 77,000 for Zach Moss and then 7,200 for Devin Singletary this time. You're paying for Devin Singletary, and then you can rotate one of these fucking guys in. And look, I like TJ Williams better than I like Isaiah McKenzie, or TJ Yeldon better than Isaiah McKenzie. He has more upside. He's an explosive player. So I'm just saying, don't sleep on him. It is worth getting a stab or two at him. He's going to be like 2% owned, bro. You don't have to get crazy.
No one's going to have him.
Nobody's going to fucking play this guy. He was cut by the Jaguars.
Yeldon had, in week 5 against Tennessee, he had a receiving touchdown for 22 yards on 3 targets. Now, when we're talking showdown, we got to talk about these kind of things. If a dude scores a touchdown in that season, you got to at least think, okay, maybe he has that upside as well. And at that price tag, we're going to have to fucking go down low if we're going to get all our favorite guys in here. Not only mentioning, Gus Edwards, but you're going to have to punt again. If we're going to fit all these dudes in that we want, we're going to have to punt twice.
All right, so I just want to say one thing right here. Okay. Over the course of TJ Yeldon's career, he has 492 carries for 2,000 yards. He averages 4 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. Okay? Look, he's a workhorse back. That's just his rushing. You want to start throwing in receiving? You're going to get some receiving. He has a touchdown, at least one touchdown almost every season receiving. So, look, I love TJ Yeldon. I think you guys are good.
It's good info, man. I was thinking about Yeldon, but now you've made it a lot easier on me. Sprinkle them in,
bro. Like 2 fucking lineups. You don't even need to do anything.
Yeah. You're gonna be double the field with 2 lineups.
Yeah.
Wow, we're already on wide receiver. What the fuck? Is this a record here? Jeez.
Bro, I honestly think we're getting better because of the live shows. Like, we don't have a fucking choice. Like, say what you mean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we fucked around with our pre-recorded shows before. Stephon Diggs, 11K.
That's it. That's the show.
That's it. See you guys later. Cole Beasley, 7,800. Upside of 59 receptions on 78 targets, 42 yards and a touchdown. That's sort of where he's going to be most likely. He does have that 100-yard upside. He does have the multiple touchdown upside. I'm kind of kidding here, but the guy's going to get a ton of targets. The question is, he's coming off of an injury. Is he at full strength? We don't know. He's not on the injury report. I'm assuming he's fully back to strength. But look, it's a little bit of a crowded receiving core here. Besides Stephon Diggs, you've got Cole Beasley at 7,800. Jump down to John Brown, who's now back at 5,800. Gabriel Davis at 5,600. And Isaiah McKenzie at 1,600. Do we have to get down to Gabriel Davis and McKenzie in this game? I think people are going to forget about Gabriel Davis.
Yeah,
but
dude.
There's a reason why, though.
Play all these fucking guys. I mean, dude, Josh Allen doesn't give a shit who he throws to. He's just going to throw the fucking ball to somebody, and they're probably going to catch it, dude. They're going to get a touchdown. Gabriel Davis, John Brown.
Did you drink some more in between our last shows? Because I love it, dude.
Yes.
You're into it.
Well, bro, I'm telling you, though, the standing desk helps a lot, too. Like, when I'm fucking sitting down, like, working, I'm like, oh, I don't fucking fall asleep. But standing up, like, I feel like I'm a living person.
Yes.
But no, dude, Cole Beasley, John Brown, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, all 4 of these guys are going to be in my lineups for obvious reasons. And honestly, I think John Brown might actually get a little slept on this week because he had such a poor performance last week. Yeah. So, you might be able to get some interesting plays here. But look, again, I'm prioritizing Stephon Diggs in all my lineups. I love Marlon Humphrey. I love that he's probably going to end up with this matchup, but I still think Stephon Diggs just eats too much volume. Now, that does get a little bit interesting. If we start looking at ownership tomorrow and it's just off the charts for Stephon Diggs, I think you're okay to consider a slight fade right? And throw in guys like Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis.
Yeah.
It's going to be these quick slants and kind of these dink and dunk throws that are going to end up beating such an aggressive secondary. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. But again, I think all these guys are in play. Andre Roberts, not in play.
I'm glad you brought that up because, well, I'm glad you brought the Stephon Diggs sort of potential fade up. I mean, I'm not going to be, that much under the field on him, if anything. But if I had to consider fading one guy out of the holy trinity of the top 3 plays on this slate, it's obviously going to be Stephon Diggs. It depends on our roster construction. But I still feel like I'm going to end up above the field, and I'm just going to rotate in a lot of these cheap guys. But I feel like guys like John Brown and Gabriel Davis will be forgot about because they're at 5,800, 5,600, and you just can't easily fit those kind of guys in. So I think their ownership is going to be, especially Gabriel Davis, is probably going to be hovering around 15 to 10%. So it's a good. All these guys are great options, man. They really are. But one thing we have to talk about here is with the weather, how big of a factor are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
With the fucking blizzard that's coming in here, potentially with heavy winds, I personally don't like to downgrade things too much. Look, the Vegas has already thought of this. It's still a 49.5 point total. I'm not particularly going out of my way to like eliminate the passing game necessarily, but like, does that come into play when you're building lineups? Are you going to build a few like run heavy lineups only?
No, not really. I mean, I'm going to build run heavy on the Ravens, and then I'm going to kind of just build balanced on the Bills. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to impact that much. I mean, if anything, Josh Allen might take the hit in the passing game, but I still think he's going to be the primary runner on this team too. So look, I just don't know if it has that big of an impact for me. And again, we already talked about decent reasons to fade Stephon Diggs. I don't want to add more reasons on that because if I reduce my exposure too much to that passing game, I'm gonna go in pretty fucking scared to my lineups.
So one thing to think about too with Isaiah McKenzie is I know he's cheap. He's worth it. He's probably not going to get the targets with everyone back healthy, but you got to think of rushing upside with him as well. Like there's an opportunity that, he could be used in the end around, the rushing, the trick play game more than Yeldon or the other guy would be, the Williams dude or whatever the hell that guy's name is, as a spell back. Just something to consider. I don't think it's a huge deal, but you might get a little bit of a boost on McKenzie if he can get a couple of rush attempts, and we've seen it happen. So let's go to the other side. Let's go to the Baltimore side of wide receivers wise. This is a fucking joke. I hate talking about this, but we got to because I feel like every week one of these guys goes off, one of these guys gets there. You might as well flip a fucking coin as to who's going to do it. Most likely it's going to be Hollywood Brown. He has the most opportunity. He has the highest upside, but he's 9,600. How can you fit him in? You have to prioritize Marquise Brown over Diggs. Like I'm not doing that. Right?
I'm just not playing Marquise Brown against Tre'Davious White. This is one of the better corners in the league, and I think he's going to try and attack this matchup. I don't know if that's how it's going to end up, but Tre'Davious White's one of those like lockdown corner guys who wants to play the number one guy. So he might slide into the slot to get that coverage. I don't like the matchup. Obviously, Marquise Brown has the upside, but if I have to pay for someone, I'm paying for Diggs, Allen, and Lamar, and that's just it.
The key to what you said there is slide in, because I think like with the footing and with the field conditions here, anything can happen. Right. I think the offense gets a boost when it comes to wide receivers against the defense because the wide receivers, they know where they're going. The defense players don't. So they have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to footing, slipping, and you can see some big plays go off with Marquise Brown. I'm going to wait to see what ownership is on him and try to fit him in. It's just going to be hard at that price tag. It really is. If he was in the 8,000 to 7,000 range, which I think he should be, it would be a little bit easier. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
So let's put it this way. I'm looking at what Roto Grinders has up here. I'm not going to give away their information, but I can tell you this, that Marquise Brown has by far the worst matchup on the slate. He is expected to be covered by Tre'Davious White. And look, I don't claim to be an expert in defensive backs, but I love watching good defensive back play. So I will tell you, Tre'Davious White's a fucking baller. And I think he does have the ability to shut down a Marquise Brown that's only been okay for 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. To me, Marquise Brown is a valid captain option because of his upside and maybe just underweight on him in the flex just because I can't afford him.
Bro, if you take away that Trace McSorley touchdown, like seriously, he has one good game. And I think it's last week.
Well, look, yeah, I agree. And also, yes, so you're right. But he does have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is it? 9 touchdowns this year? 8 touchdowns this year. That's nothing. Yeah, he got lucky on a few plays, but like the dude scored 9 touchdowns. That's more skill than luck. But the price tag is tough. So Willie Snead at 4,000. That's a big gap between 1 and 2. Willie Snead is the kind of guy that no one ever has because they don't give a fuck about him, and he ends up with 2 touchdowns and he's in the optimal. It always seems to happen with this team. Miles Boykin is right there at 1,800, Des Bryant 600, and Devin Duvernay as like a straight up fucking punt. Pair him with the fucking Ravens defense, double up on those kickoff return points. Anyways,
this is not the week to do that.
I know. I'm just hey, let's bring it up. Snead, Boykin, Bryant, Duvernay. Who's your favorite? Or, by default, are you just fading the rest of these guys?
No, bro. Honestly, I think this is exactly where Snead and Boykin need to be priced at, and for that reason, I love both of them. I think they're both wildly in play at 4K. Then Miles Boykin at 1,800. Again, these are the same dude. I'm not playing both of them in the same lineup. But what we saw last week, or this might not be last week. Let me pull this up. So against Cincinnati, Boykin had 2 targets, 1 reception for 43 yards and a touchdown.
It was week 17, I think.
Yeah, that was week 17. Let me pull up Baltimore Ravens here.
Boykin does have like 4 touchdowns this year. So at 1,800, you got to consider playing him, at least sprinkling him in at 1,800. He's probably going to be 10% or less owned.
Yeah, bro. I mean, he's pretty cheap. So last week he only had 1 target. Willie Snead had 2 targets, 2 receptions. It's only 9 yards. But again, like I definitely think these guys have the opportunity to get involved. Obviously, the primary play that we're going to be looking at is going to go to the tight ends if we're not playing Hollywood Brown. But I think Willie Snead and Miles Boykin are definitely in play. I don't have any interest in Bryant or Duvernay. Not tonight.
Yeah,
that's tonight.
Watch Des Bryant gets 2 touchdowns in this game. The Ellie kiss of death. As soon as you're not interested, they go off.
By the way, Reggie Jackson's going to end up outscoring Nikhil Alexander-Walker.
Is he really?
Yeah.
We knew it.
Well, I played him in my single entry.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
For those of you tuning in on Saturday, listening to us talk about Friday night NBA, sorry about that. All right, so let's move over to the tight ends. Mark Andrews for Baltimore, 8K, and good old Eric Tomlinson at 200. Not really a reason to talk about him, just as purely as a punt. But Mark Andrews at 8K, this guy arguably is the number 1 target on this team. Him and Hollywood Brown both have similar output when it comes to that. But you got to say that, especially in a game like this, that Mark Andrews is your number 1 target for Lamar Jackson, correct? Especially at that price tag being a lot cheaper than Hollywood Brown. You got to prioritize him.
Yeah, I mean, look, you stole the words right from me. I don't know what else you can say other than that. 8K is probably not expensive enough for Mark Andrews. He seems healthy. He's getting the volume. And Hollywood Brown just does not have a good matchup. Mark Andrews is going to easily have one of the better opportunities to get open. He's going to be covered by pretty quick linebackers. Let's not forget the Bills do have some smaller, fast linebackers. But again, he's very talented and very physical. So I think Mark Andrews is in a smash spot. I think this is where you start considering those Stephon Diggs fades. Yeah. This is the guy you're probably going to need to pivot to if you're not pivoting to Hollywood.
All right, let's move over to the other side. Buffalo, Dawson Knox, 4,600. He's been randomly catching touchdowns. Do you have his stat line for last week? Because, of course, Fantasy Cruncher doesn't have that added. But I can tell you, in the past few weeks, he hasn't really done amazing, but he does have a 3 touchdowns since week 12, and then he had another touchdown last week, right?
Yeah. So
4 touchdowns since week 12. That's something to talk about, especially for a guy at 4,600.
And look, so I'm about to share this with you. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked, right? I have a little bit of recency bias here, I have to admit. I remember the touchdown, but I don't remember the actual performance. Turns out it was 3 targets, 2 receptions, 5 yards, and 1 touchdown.
That's what you can expect from him.
Yeah, 6.5 fantasy points. So, I mean, that's not terrible, but at 4,600, I'm not sure that I'm entirely interested in as much as I was, like a fucking hour ago.
Yeah, right.
I get that he has that touchdown, but this isn't a game where I'm paying 4,600 for 7.5 fantasy points.
Yeah,
that might be the Packers game, right? Or the Rams side of the ball.
Yeah.
But in this game, I mean, I think TJ Yeldon at whatever his price is has an opportunity to get that same amount. So
1,400, way cheaper.
Exactly. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. I love tight ends, and again, the strength of this secondary is in their corners. So this honestly might be one of the better matchups. This might be one of the better opportunities for you to get some involvement in the passing game that isn't reliant upon Marlon Humphreys or Marcus Peters or Jimmy Smith not doing well. So don't get me wrong. I'm going to have some exposure here, but I think that the field's going to be a little bit higher than they were last week because everybody remembers that touchdown. Yeah. This is 3 consecutive weeks with touchdowns, right?
Pretty much. Look, Dawson Knox at 4,600. His realistic ceiling is probably around 12 or 13 fantasy points. And if he hits that, you have a chance of him being in the optimal. I just don't see it. I think there's other guys with other higher upside. You really need 7 targets for 5 receptions and 50 something yards and a touchdown out of him. I'm going to bet on that not happening. Maybe he gets 1 random catch in the back of the end zone and that's it. Tyler Kroft, who's been chilling for most of this season. He's been on the COVID list for a lot of this season. He's a similar kind of guy. Week 1, he had 2 touchdowns. Week 9 was the last week he played, unless he played last week. I'm not sure if he was active last week. It's a good question because every single week I feel like he's not on the injury report, but he has COVID he has COVID for 17 weeks. I don't know what his deal is. He's an option at 1,000. And then Lee Smith, you got this offensive lineman looking motherfucker running around catching touchdowns. I think he has just as high of a ceiling as Dawson Knox at $200. So can we consider any of these guys, just like we talked about with every single position? It feels like there's a punt that we like at every position. That's what happens when you have 2 great teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know if you need to get this low, right? The $200 guys hitting has only happened once or twice this entire season, and I don't know if this is the matchup that happens. So, again, I think you have a guy like Gus Edwards at 2,400. That's just or 2,600. I just think there's too much flexibility to build on this slate for me to be diving deep into $200 tight ends.
Yeah. All right, so let's move over to kickers here. You got 2 of the best kickers, at least highest upside kickers we've seen. Justin Tucker is one of the best kickers in the NFL history. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, what the fuck's going on. This guy's going to come out and make field goals. He's at 3,800, which seems a little low for him. I would expect him to be over 4K. Tyler Bass is at 3,600. For some reason, he's always priced down. He's actually the highest projected kicker on this slate. We've seen Tyler Bass have a high ceiling. And with kickers, I fucking can't stand kickers sometimes because their median projection's high, their ceiling's low. So they tend to get over-owned because they're just jammed into these lineups, especially with high-priced captains that you want to get in. He has a ceiling of 18 fantasy points-ish, I would consider, and Justin Tucker probably 15, 16. Are we giving kickers a boost in a game where the passing game might just be slightly decreased because of the weather?
I'm giving both these kickers a boost just because this game should stay competitive. So field goals will matter throughout the entire game. I definitely think both these guys are in play. 3,800. That's some pretty decent salary savings. And if this weather isn't too awful and this does turn into a total that's a little bit higher than what we're anticipating, 6 touchdowns is 6 extra points. I mean, 6 touchdowns is a fucking lot. 5 touchdowns is 5 extra points, and you add a 40-yard field goal, your kicker has 9. So I definitely think there's a world in where you can utilize these guys. But again, I mean, you need to have that built into your game script. I just don't know that they have quite the ceiling that we're going to need.
Well, and look, I say this all the time, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but in the NFL this year specifically, these are 2 aggressive head coaches. They're not going to fuck around with 4th and 1 on their own 35 and kick a field goal. They're going to go for it almost every time, even 4th and 2. So you're talking about maybe 1 or 2 less opportunities per game at potentially 5 points for these kickers. So it's just something to think about. Like, I just personally don't like kickers. I feel like I'm selling the audience to not play kickers, but I just don't like it. I feel like more often than not, the kickers are not going to end up in the optimal lineup, especially with a 50-point total. And we've got guys like Gus Edwards who are $1,200 cheaper than these guys who I feel more confident with.
Yep.
Defense, Ravens and Bills. Ravens 3,000, Bills 3,200. Seems like, defenses that we don't consider always end up the optimal captain within the first quarter or some shit like that. You always have to consider the Ravens defense. Are we fucking around with Bills defense? I don't know why they're $200 more.
No, for me, this is a pass. Like, we need a pass button. I won't be playing either. That means both will have 2 touchdowns.
Well, look, I mean, there's something to talk about here. The weather, do the defenses get a boost? I know that Vegas doesn't think so necessarily. This is still a 50-point over-under. But can we maybe consider the Ravens to be pretty dangerous with the potential of a turnover or a fumble or something like that in the weather?
So look, I will say one thing, and this is just to shout out another one of those Alabama boys, but Marlon Humphrey,
son of a bitch.
I'm pretty sure he finished like 3rd in NFL history for forced fumbles. So this season, he's a beast. He had 8 forced fumbles this season. So like, for a fucking corner to be stopping the run like that and forcing fumbles, there you do have some upside playing the Ravens defense. But again, I just don't think this is the wisest opportunity to do that. These are 2 young quarterbacks trying to fucking make their names. They've got their wins, right? They've got their playoff wins. Now this is time for the AFC Championship game. So like, I think this is really going to be an offensive test of mettle. And dude, we could literally be watching like the beginning of the next like 5 to 7 years of our AFC division rivals. Yeah. You have Lamar, you have Pat, and you have Josh.
This could be the Peyton Manning versus
Tom Brady. And then, we got to find out which one's Phillip Rivers. Is that Josh Allen? Is that Lamar Jackson? Right? So
how many kids does Josh Allen have? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Look, I don't give a shit if...
We got way sidetracked there.
I know. I don't give a shit what's going on with the weather. I don't care if the stadium's on fire. Each of these teams can come out and score 40 points each. I don't care what the fuck is going on. And I think the Ravens get a big boost in this game because of the weather. I think the running game.
John Harbaugh will just start running the fucking football. Bro, why are they running these? I feel like we have the same conversation after every Ravens game. Why are you doing this dumbass shit? Just run the fucking football. Nobody can stop it. Literally nobody can fucking stop it when you run the football. But what do? You throw an interception on a 50-yard play that Lamar Jackson shouldn't even be throwing in the first place. Just run the goddamn football and save us all a lot of fucking hassle.
If John Harbaugh is listening to this, maybe he'll actually take your advice for fucking once here.
Bro, I got a whole Madden playbook for you. It's halfback dive.
Let's get to our fate of the night.
What's your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony!
Oh,
Fuck
shit.
you, Hollywood Brown. Fuck you, Hollywood Brown. Now look, I like Hollywood Brown. All right, I do. I think he has high upside. And Hollywood, if you're watching this, sorry, man. I apologize, but we're gonna have to fade you because of your price. Blame it on DraftKings. Don't blame it on us. All right, 9,600. I can't afford to get everyone else. Now, if I'm gonna do a pivot at all, I can throw him into a couple lineups instead of Diggs. I just don't want to. He's the ultimate tournament play, and I will actually embrace him at captain, but I'm going to fade him in the flex. Anything to add to that? Before people watch this and go, they uncheck Hollywood Brown, then he gets a 100-yard touchdown, and they fucking tweet us saying, what the fuck are you guys thinking? There's a reason why we're thinking this, right? And tell us why. Yeah,
look, I mean, Hollywood Brown's thinking the same goddamn thing. The way that we win this game, the way that we get our road to the Super Bowl is by running the fucking football. And to be completely honest with you, if they can do that consecutively and successfully and just run it down the goddamn fucking field, you know what that opens up? Play action against an 8-man box for one of the fastest players on the field. Yeah. So, like, I know that's not a great case to fade him, but look, that's the best situation for this entire team. I also think that takes opportunity away from Hollywood Brown. Look, John Harbaugh is not an idiot. I hope he's not. He needs to run the football, and I think that just closes the opportunities to Hollywood Brown. Not to mention his matchup fucking sucks.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's just say Marquise Brown is 35% owned. I'll probably be 15 or 20% on him. I'm not unchecking him. I still want him. And then I'll probably have like 5-10% of him at captain.
And look, I do have thoughts on that. If he's 35% owned, I mean, he's, that's essentially a fade anyway. So if you're in disagreement, it's 100% okay to just run 35%. Hollywood Brown. Exactly. Like that's not terrible. Just understand that means you're fading fucking Stephon Diggs or one of the quarterbacks, which I don't know if I can
those lineups. Yeah, exactly. It's just a roster construction thing. That's all. I don't have anything against Marquise. All right. Let's go to our Captain Crunch segment, and then we'll get into our Crown the Rass segment. So if you haven't watched this before, we basically crunched out 250 lineups per captain here. Oh shit. I just gave that away. Fuck it. Whatever. Anyways, Captain Crunch segment. So take a look at this. This is pretty interesting. We crunched out 250 lineups per captain and sorted by the top ceiling, top floor, high projected points, et cetera, et cetera. Look at Gus Edwards, bro. You pay down. Look at that. He's right there, right up there with Lamar and Josh Allen when it comes to projected points from median aspect. His ceiling's up there pretty much. It makes the Gus Edwards at captain, kind of an interesting play here. Don't you think?
Yeah. I think you can get like 2 or 3 lineups like that. There's only 2 or 3 lineups that you would run if you're doing that in the first place. Otherwise, you're severely limiting your ceiling, right? So don't get too crazy with it. Just go ahead and run the 2 or 3 optimals that you can get from that. And if it hits, you should be fairly low owned, right? You might duplicate with a couple other people, but it's not going to be too crazy. I think
if Gus Edwards but if Gus Edwards is 3% owned in the captain and you get 15% of him, which is if you're doing 20 max, that's 3 lineups. Right. You are now way over the field and you're going to be okay,
Right. And at 3%, yes, it's probably going to be the same lineup that you're running, but you're still probably talking about 6 total lineups. And if you're doing a high, a big payout contest, I mean, that's tying for 15 grand doesn't fucking suck. Like, anyways, I digress. I think obviously, we can see where the GPP plays are clear. You got John Brown, you got even Gus Edwards we talked about, Cole Beasley, Devin Singletary. They're all interesting options. But just the way that the pricing's built out, I just don't know why you fade the Holy Triumvirate, right? Like just fucking run Jackson, Allen, Diggs. Yeah. Put them all in a captain. If you can run all 3 at captain, fucking do it. I don't know what site that is, but try it. Right? Look, it's
FanDuel.
Yeah. Look, I have nothing else to say. Play the top 3 in captain. Cash, GPP. I really don't think people are going to play guys like TJ Yeldon. And what we've seen over the last 6 weeks is nobody plays Gus Edwards for some goddamn reason.
Some fucking reason.
I don't need to get too crazy. I think I'm going to trust the Gus Edwards play and then just throw in the optimal captains.
This is prime opportunity for Gus Edwards.
Right. 100%, dude. 100%.
Ingram is basically retired at this point. The dude's a fucking cheerleader on the sidelines. There's 2 dudes getting the ball in addition to Lamar. You put Lamar, Gus, and JK in the same lineup and then sprinkle in fucking what's his bucket? Sorry, dude. Who's the fucking tight end? Who's the fucking tight end? Why am I blanking on the tight end name?
No, Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews. Sorry, dude. That's such a
Knox. What the fuck?
You sprinkle Mark Andrews in, you're gonna have a good time. All right, let's get to our captain choice here.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
I already blew it too early, so might as well blow it again. For me, I like Gus Edwards as a contrarian play. I'm not gonna put Allen and Lamar on my side as well because we already know that they're a good play. I just wanted to point out that Gus Edwards. No, well, dude, it's the most obvious best play. The chance of either one of these guys being in the optimal is like 95% probably.
Yeah.
Right. So another option is John Brown at captain. I really like that as a tournament upside, but this is pretty obvious. And then you obviously Diggs. I think we're forgetting about Diggs at captain. So we should build with Diggs at captain first because Diggs might be kind of forgotten about. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing to keep in mind, right? We're going through this kind of sequentially. So it's easy for us to kind of lose track of a guy that we liked earlier on in the show, especially if they're like a fucking running back and we fall in love with tight end. So yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I do like some Diggs captain tomorrow. All right.
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's start with fucking Stephon.
Start with Stephon. Let's see what we can do.
Stephon. Cool. Let's see what the optimal is here. Dez Bryant.
No. Nope.
Okay. Why does he look like Idris Alba in that picture? You got Gus Edwards, John Brown, Lamar Jackson. 2010. This is a fucked up lineup. I hope this is the optimal with Stephon Diggs.
I hope they enter it.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. So
right, all that shit. Just lock Jackson and Allen there at the bottom, and fucking lock Gus Edwards there.
What am I supposed to do? Here, I'm going to try something.
Bro, I feel like this is our core, and you just rotate dudes in and out. Yeah, Yeldon. There you go. With 5,300. Dawson Knox. Can you go down a little bit? What's our next option under that? Defenses?
Willie Snead. Jesus Christ. Okay.
So yeah, dude. That's the show. I'm just kidding. I
mean, what are we supposed to do, dude? This is a sick fucking lineup. You know what I mean? And here, watch. Don't
go playing fucking Yeldon and Cash. Come on, guys. We know that Yeldon's a tournament option.
Right, 100%. So watch, you go captain. Who did I take out? Josh Allen?
Yeah. And then plug Diggs in. Can you? Yep.
I mean, Jesus, yeah. Diggs. Oh yeah, Diggs a captain. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. What happens if we come off of Yeldon?
And even come off a Snead too. We can, you can go kickers, you can go defenses, you can go Boykin, and just rotate these guys in and out.
4,400. I mean, look, this isn't terrible. Diggs, Allen, Boykin, Edwards, Tucker, Lamar.
All right, let's do this. Put Lamar at captain. Let's start fresh. Put Lamar at captain. I want to do a rushing onslaught. With the Ravens, I've gotten some high output.
You don't need to convince me, dude. I'm all for this.
Near first place output with this kind of build. Gus Edwards. Then let's run it back with Josh Allen and our boy fucking running back for the Bills. Devin. What does that do for us? 13?
Yeah, hold on. Oh shit.
That's Who's the highest guy we can get?
Dez.
Yeldon. Shit. Really? Fuck. That sucks, man. What if you went? Can you go? McKenzie. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do the rushing onslaught unless you get rid of Dobbins or Edwards. It's not terrible.
Leaving a lot on the table. What happens if we come off of McKenzie 2,700? fuck is happening here? I mean, Lamar. Yeah, I see what you mean. We don't have the rushing onslaught.
So this is the situation. Let's go. Get away from. Yeah, look, we could just rotate in. Yeah, maybe we don't want to have. This sucks. Yeldon. Yeah, I see that. Rushing, and then Gus Edwards.
No, it's too much.
You don't want to go all in, bro? Come on.
I can't, dude. He's 2,600.
Oh, dude, that would be sick. All right, look, let's do one more thing. Let's go to Dobbins at captain.
Hold on. Dude, watch this. Allen, Dobbins, Yeldon, Jackson, Singletary, Edwards.
Fuck passing.
Well, dude, look, we got the highest upside passer on the fucking in our captain.
Yeah, exactly. Can you who do you have to take out to get Diggs in this lineup? You're gonna have to pull out Dobbins and Yeldon, probably, right?
No, Dobbins and Singletary.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. So good, Diggs, 4,800.
Dawson Knox.
It's not terrible. What about this, dude? Come off Diggs. What, you got 10 grand left? I mean,
yeah.
Well, you know, I don't want too much TJ Yeldon.
You don't want too much Yeldon. We're talking 2-3 lineups at the most, and you got to just be ready for those lineups to be dead.
Well, in here. Oh, see, now we're getting to awkward pricing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our core, though. So who do we think we can get here? Is there anybody else? Can we get Cole Beasley and then go to 1,400? What do we have? Oh, TJ Yeldon. God damn it.
Dude, and this is why we do this. You know, we're building these lineups by hand because we see that Yeldon is like the key.
Bro, this isn't terrible, though.
Revolve around Yeldon. If this dude can score a touchdown, you're going to fucking win a shitload of money.
I don't mind Cole Beasley, right? Like,
I don't either.
I mean, he has a tough matchup. Right?
Yeah, but dude, the guy's going to catch fucking 6-7 passes. Like, you can pretty much bank that. The dude's going to catch 6 passes unless he gets injured. All right, let's do a high upside. Let's do yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, and then after this, I have one more that I want to build with.
Okay.
Unless you have a suggestion. All right, let's do this.
Put in all the best. All the best. Look at that. Look at that. Oh shit. We got a little carried away there.
Look, I don't know if I necessarily want Marquise Brown in this lineup. If I'm doing this, I'm taking Dobbins. Oh, you son of... Oh, we had Gus Edwards again.
Gus Edwards. McKenzie, Boykin, fucking Yeldon again.
I actually don't mind McKenzie in this lineup. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, McKenzie, Edwards, Jackson, Dobbins.
So look, this is what I would do with this. Get rid of Dobbins, get rid of McKenzie. This is a good lineup. I like this lineup. I would launch it into my optimizer, and I'd crunch out as many possible fucking combinations as I possibly can.
This obviously seems like the optimal.
Yeah. So I would crunch as many out as I possibly can, and then I'd enter the highest ceiling, and I enter the highest projected points, and then move on to the next combination.
All right. If any of you are using Roto Grinders and Lineup HQ, check out this new feature they just added. You can build your lineups using the ceiling and the floor as opposed to fantasy points. They do not give us any free shit for plugging that, but I do think it's cool. Roto Grinders, if you are one of our 18 people watching, please give us a heads up. And, you know, we don't mind touting your shit, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
All right.
You got one more?
Yeah, one more. Let's This is a price that I'm okay with doing this at.
Cole Beasley. I should have found that freestyle and downloaded it.
Yeah.
It was kind of epic, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, hold on. Do I have enough to do this? Like this shit. This is a fucked up lineup. I don't know if this is gonna work. $500. What can we get for $500? Nothing. All right. So we got Diggs. Let's go. What does that leave us with? 4,300. Willie Snead. I'm okay with this. This isn't terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
So look, if you had to build one cash lineup, if you were doing like a $300 entry or some shit with cash lineups, if you were just going all in, what would you build? One cash lineup to rule them all.
One to find them. One to bring them all. And in the darkness bind them. Such a piece of shit sometimes. I don't know. Like I might just run this one lineup. Like that's it.
Yeldon?
Hold on.
Yeldon goes off, man. You deserve a raise on our
dude. What am I supposed to do? Like, why wouldn't I play? Like, I
Yeldon over DuVernay, yeah.
Yeah. So what? I get Yeldon, and what does that leave me with? 4,700. I mean, Dawson Knox or Willie Snead. Like, I don't know how I don't.
Tucker Bass, either of them.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually,
go with one of the kickers.
What if? This might be fine too.
There you go.
1,700 left.
Go up from Yeldon.
3,100. I don't know. See, that's where you start getting the weird shit.
That's why, look, DraftKings did a good job. They know all the combinations with these popular captains. They make it hard on you. You're going to have to go down to Yeldon. You're going to have to go to fucking Lee Smith. You're going to have to do one of these guys that I'm not comfortable with. But that's just in and out, you know?
I'm fine with Yeldon, bro. I really am.
Look, we need to do a little bit of research on Yeldon and see if he's actually the number 2 guy or if Antonio Williams is actually that guy. And look, either way, they're the same price basically. And in fact, right, Antonio Williams is 1,200.
Last thing I'll say. This year, TJ Yeldon has 10 carries, 70 yards. Right. Let's see. No touchdowns yet. He has 4 targets, 1 reception, and 1 touchdown. Look, man, I don't know what you need from a $1,400 guy who's probably going to see 25% of the snaps.
Yeah,
just 25%. Right. I mean, that's all you need from 1,400.
And look, if this team is down at any point, you might see a lot more Yeldon than we think. Or you might see a lot more Antonio Williams. When we say Yeldon, I think we mean either one of these guys. You can take a shot at either one of them. Right?
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. Get them all in there. One of them is probably going to be in the optimal.
All right, Ellie, what's your master prediction here? Who's going to win this game?
I really think Baltimore is going to take it. I think it's going to be 31-29.
I think this is going to be one of the best games we've seen in a long time. I really hope it is. But I think Baltimore has it. I really do. I want – look, we need Lamar Jackson to come through. I really want Lamar Jackson to make the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I'm tired of people talking shit about him.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I am too. Josh Allen will have his time.
Yeah.
You know, next year he can come out and do the same thing that Lamar did this year. Hopefully, he's gonna have it. All right. So bold prediction: who's gonna be one of these cheap ass fucking dudes who scores a touchdown?
TJ Yeldon.
All right, copy that. I'll tend to agree with you. All right, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're gonna be back to live for Sunday games. So schedule us. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and we really appreciate it. Send us a like here on the way out. It really helps us out. subscribe. I think 70% of our watch hours are from people who aren't subscribed. So just click that one button. It really helps. All right, guys. See you later. Thank you so much.